Disney Star Wars.
Now we're getting to. So in the first episode, we said this, that we sometimes have very violently different opinions on movies, and this is where things get rough. Now, off the bat, I will say, we both agree that The Force Awakens is a good movie.
Yes,
I love The Force.
Force Awakens is great. I love
just
it.
wait, just don't even, just hold the fuck.
No,
We're
I'm
talking
just
about
saying.
The Force Awakens right now.
I'm just saying it is a New
It's
Hope
good.
remake.
It's a good movie,
It is a good movie.
but it's a remake. You said
It's basically a New Hope remake,
yes, it is.
but it's better than a New Hope.
I agree with that.
Thank you. Mike is like
he's fucking
he's
tweaking
going
back
through
there.
it back there after I said that.
Okay.
All right.
But I agree with that. I think mainly it's because I saw that movie in theaters. It was a really good experience for me.
Yeah.
I wasn't alive in 1977.
I think
so
that this
I didn't
also
see.
brings back to the first episode when we talked about the theater going experience.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's so important to see films in theaters because it changes your experience completely than sitting at home on the couch
Absolutely.
with a stuffed animal.
Like
watching
there's
it
so
on a
many
little
movies
TV.
that your parents grew up watching that they're like, you need to watch this because I grew up watching it, which is fine. Well, every person does that. You know, it's how you introduce your children to things that you love is through the films that you watch and things like that. But when you see them in theaters, like I said in our first episode, I have a much bigger respect for the movie Jaws just because I saw it in theaters during the pandemic.
Yeah, I've
And
never
just
seen it in
how
theater.
different that experience is when you're immersed into a film that, like, I've seen Jaws 1,000 times. It's Jaws.
Yeah.
But when you see it in theaters, it's different. It's just different.
It's like Halloween with me. I've seen it 1,000 times, but last year I saw it in theaters.
The original?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As they had it, and I went all the way to Joliet to see it in Cinemark, and I went by myself. And I sat there, it was just like...
Sorry.
Oh,
No, I
wow.
tapped the cord with my foot. You probably picked that up. But yeah, so The Force Awakens, it was a really good stepping off point.
Yes.
They had something there. They
Yes.
really did.
They
and
did.
if they would have kept up with that pace and the way that they were going with that, the sequel trilogy would have been very, very, very successful. I'm not saying that it really wasn't, because it was. I mean, the tickets sold, right? They did well, but critically and the fans they're not. Yeah, but I mean, The Force Awakens introducing Kylo Ren, and you're like, who the fuck? And then you see his lightsaber open up, and it's that dude. And it's like you see the crossblade, you're like, what the fuck? It's like the same thing with Maul when he opened up the double bladed lightsaber, and you first saw that, and you're like, whoa, they can do that.
Yeah. That whole opening scene, and then Poe shoots the blaster at him, and he literally stops the blaster like midair and just leaves it as he walks by.
Yeah,
I was
you're like.
I was like, what? Who is this guy?
Yeah, dude. And then Poe Dameron, like, he just so who do you I talk first, you talk first, I talk first.
I love Poe.
Yeah.
I really do. And BB-8.
Yes, BB-8's great.
BB's my guy. I
Yeah,
love
dude.
BB.
He's got the sass of R2D2,
Yeah.
and he's got the fucking, I don't know. He has probably nothing of 3PO.
No, but the best
that's
part
okay.
of BB-8 is when Finn first gets on the Millennium Falcon with Rey, and she's fixing the ship, and he's trying to get BB-8 to tell her where the Resistance base is, and he's just looking back and forth at Rey and Finn. And then he goes like this, and then he shoots out the little lighter.
the lighter.
Oh, I love BB.
Or fucking yeah, just seeing Han and Chewie come back. You see the Falcon, you're like, oh shit, you know. And then you see Han and Chewie come back. They get brought into the tractor beam and whatever. They're hiding, and like I love how they immediately knew. They immediately found him. Like they were hiding for 2 seconds and were immediately found. So yeah, but I mean, other than that, I mean, yeah, the sequel trilogy had a really good start off point with The Force Awakens. It was great.
Yeah, and I bet Harrison was so glad.
Oh yeah,
to die.
Yeah, he probably loved it.
They probably brought it to him. He was like, "Please."
Yeah.
Please.
I'm pretty sure he has said that in an interview. Like,
I mean, but it was a good death.
Now, we're going to talk about this at the end because I have my own. I like to rewrite things that I don't because I'm a writer. I like to kind of. Okay, well, how would I do it? Type thing. And I have to have something to try and save the sequels in my head. But now we're getting to the big one. You said you wanted to start this off.
Yeah.
And I will let you just...
So, The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi.
I wrote down a bunch of notes.
Did you?
My points as to why
You can write?
As to why I think The Last Jedi is a great Star Wars film. Okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to say my points, and then we can have a debate about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? All right. It creates some of the most memorable Star Wars action put to film.
Wrong.
It was a joy to watch. Let me finish. The throne room scene after Snoke dies is a standout in the film and arguably has one of the best fight scenes.
It's definitely a standout.
Has one of the best fight scenes in the entire franchise.
Okay.
Okay? I know you both, you too, Mike, hate Luke in this film.
He's fucking terrible.
I love Luke in this film. Okay? And I'm going to tell you why. People seem to forget that Luke didn't beat the Emperor in the original trilogy by fighting him in like some dope lightsaber battle. Mm-hmm. Instead, he chooses not to fight at all, and he wins by showing compassion towards his father, a.k.a. Vader. Okay? And in this film, Luke is able to literally cripple the entire First Order and defeat Kylo Ren by cleverly utilizing the Force rather than using violence. Okay? And it sticks to that trope of George Lucas's original idea for Star Wars, where the Jedi are more about passion or compassion and not about violence. Mm-hmm. Okay? And then, unlike The Force Awakens, which, like I said earlier, is a New Hope remake, The Last Jedi takes narrative chances and surprises the audience. From Rey's origin,
definitely was a surprise. I'll give you that.
It was Rian Johnson was willing to take chances, and that's why I love it. From Rey's origin to the death of Snoke and to the death of Luke. Like, going into The Last Jedi, you're telling me you sat there and thought Luke was going to die?
No.
Right.
No, I did.
No. Okay. The film is also, the cinematography of that film is beautiful.
Okay, I'll give you that.
And Steve Yedlin.
Crete is a great...
Yes.
Or Crete. Crete?
Crete?
Crete's an island in Greece.
I don't know.
Whatever. Crete, I think?
I think it's Crete. Crete? I don't know.
I don't remember. One of the fucking two.
Yeah, one of the two.
Great fucking... white sand, and then when you dig it up, it's red. Oh, that shit's hard. Cool. That's hard.
The porgs are absolutely adorable.
Okay.
Cute as hell. Okay. Another one, the Canto Blight sequence, which I know you two think is stupid and hate.
The what?
The Canto Blight sequence with Finn and the Rose when they go to the casino. Okay?
Yeah.
Hear me out.
Okay.
Hear me out. I think that sequence is very important to the trilogy. Okay? And I'm going to tell you why. It shows us as viewers a whole new part of the galaxy with a totally unique aesthetic, and from what we've seen before, it also expands on the politics of the universe that we see a little bit in the prequel trilogies. Okay? And it also reveals how the war not only creates disproportionate wealth, but that both the rebels and the First Order enriches them. I love The Last Jedi, and I will stand by it till the day I die.
Okay. Are you done?
No, I'm not done.
Fuck.
Okay?
Wrap it the fuck up, bro.
Okay? One more thing. A lot of toxic Star Wars fans, not JaCoby, some days, state that in the film, now this part is a quote that I looked up. This one is, I'll be completely honest, that when Kylo says in the film, let the past die, kill it if you have to. Mm-hmm. A lot of people use it as a thesis for the whole entire Last Jedi film. Mm-hmm. But they need to realize that the line is from a villain, and it has nothing to really do with the thesis for the movie. And then literally at the end of the film, we see kids playing with Star Wars toys, essentially, which is a clue that the film is stating that the past shouldn't be destroyed, but we should learn from it. Mm-hmm. I just think Last Jedi is a great film, a great Star Wars film, and I think people overhate it for no reason. Now, go ahead, JaCoby. That's all I got to say.
You talk your piece. Let me talk.
No, go ahead. I'm going to sit here. I'm not going to say a single word. I'm going to let you talk your piece.
The Last Jedi is rough because I understand the situation completely behind it, right? J.J. Abrams had an entirely different fucking movie planned for The Last Jedi, and it was just different from top to bottom. whatever happened with him and Kathleen Kennedy happened, and he stepped down from The Last Jedi, and Rian Johnson stepped in. Now, I think Rian Johnson is a fucking phenomenal filmmaker.
Yes.
He's an amazing filmmaker. He's an amazing writer. He did Knives Out. And Knives Out is a fucking masterpiece.
Yes.
Love that movie, and I love Rian Johnson.
Did you watch
However,
Glass Onion? Sorry, this is totally off topic.
no, that movie looked like it fucking blew.
Okay.
So I didn't watch it. But the first Knives Out is great.
Yes.
But what people don't understand is that when you have a pre-established story, you have to stick with it, because a lot of the new model of filmmaking now is, okay, well, like they just did this with The Exorcist, where they buy the rights to it and they just try to make a trilogy, and they don't even know how the first one's going to go. Make the first fucking movie, and then, okay, then we'll make a second one. If the second one does good, okay, we'll make a third.
Yeah.
It does, like, today's new model, it doesn't work like that. You have to, like what they were doing with Dune. They made the first Dune did okay. Well, they did parts 1 and 2 because they split up the book. So okay, sure. And then they were Denis was just like, okay, well, if the second one does good, great, we'll make a third one. Yeah, cool. They're making a third one. Yes. It got greenlit. It's been approved. They're making it. So all this to say that Rian Johnson, I understand what he was trying to do. However, for the Skywalker storyline, he was not correct. He wasn't the right fit for it. If Rian Johnson wanted to do another movie that was akin to Solo or Rogue One or even one of the shows, Andor, Kenobi, Mando, anything, it would have been great. He obviously has an eye for this stuff. He wanted to explore more of the Star Wars world, and that's what I think that those spin-off movies are great for, is learning what the world of Star Wars is outside of the Skywalker family. Right. But he wanted to make a tragedy out of something that was set up to be a triumphant return of the franchise. And The Last Jedi just... I do agree that when people hate things now, they can't just not like it. You have to hate it with all of your fiber of your fucking being. I don't understand. Like, relax. It's not that deep. Yeah. But at the same time, I understand why people hate what he did with Luke in this movie, because no matter what you say, no matter what way you spin it, Luke just wouldn't do the things that he does in that movie. Like, there's just certain things that he does that Luke Skywalker would never fucking do, and as you said, was pre-established in the original trilogy. He would never in a million fucking years just, first of all, off the bat, toss his lightsaber over the fucking rocks. He would never do that. He would never fucking do that. Even if he's trying to prove a point, he wouldn't do that. He would never go and attempt to kill his fucking nephew because he sensed because he had a bad dream and was like, oh, fuck, he's going to turn to the dark side and now I'm going to kill him. What? He would never do that. Yeah. Especially because of what happened in Return. And the fucking whole point at the end of that movie, he would never do that. Especially because he lost his dad to that exact thing, which was violence, which is what killed, his father wanted to have a peaceful death and wanted to become Anakin Skywalker and see him with his own two eyes again and all this shit. Why would Luke not talk to Ben first about all of this? And let him know what's going on instead of just, I'm going to walk into his room while he's sleeping and ignite my lightsaber like I'm going to fucking kill him. And then when he freaks out, oh no, now he's a bad guy. Yeah. Come on, dude. What? And then Kylo, because of this, is like, okay, well, fuck you and fuck whatever you're trying to do and build here. And he destroys Luke's thing. And now Luke's like, oh, what happened? It all went so wrong. No, dumbass. You're like, that it wouldn't fucking happen. I don't care what way you spin it. I don't care what way you try to defend it. It would never fucking happen. It wouldn't happen. He banishes himself because he feels guilty about what he did. Great. The whole thing about the ending of him doing the whole force projection thing. Sure, but it wouldn't have been better to just have Luke appear in front of Kylo and have a mirrored version of what happened with Han, But instead of that, we're going to do a force projection thing where Kylo was quite literally fighting ghosts and he's just doing whatever. Like, why wouldn't you have that be a personal connection and have a personal, listen, man, I fucked up. I'm sorry. You know, you didn't need to go down this path. This didn't need to happen. We can still fix this. Let's try to fix this. That's what Luke would do. That's how Luke would behave. It's not the fact that I think the movie is bad. I think that he wrote the characters very poorly. He wrote them in a not fucking not loyal, but I don't know, correct way. He didn't. It's not what would happen. And if you want to do the whole thing with Leia coming out of the ship gets blown up and then Leia has to go into a coma, leaving the pink-haired bitch to take over for the rest of the fucking movie. Okay, I guess. And now we're stuck in space for the entire fucking movie. And then Rose.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, all right. Again, if you wanted to introduce a new character, you can do that in another movie. They tried to create Rose to like add depth to Finn, but then again, they already fucked that up because Finn was supposed to be the Jedi of the fucking franchise, which is how they ended it in the first one.
Oh, dude, that was so cool. I remember, yeah.
And then why would you change that now? There's just, the movie went wrong in so many ways because, and I don't necessarily think that it was just Ryan Johnson.
Yeah. I agree. I think the movie has flaws. And there are some of the things you say about Luke I do agree with. But I still think it's a great Star Wars film. I will say, however, I wish JJ would have been there and stayed and did the second one. Because we definitely would have seen Finn as a Jedi if JJ was still there.
Yeah.
So, Kathleen Kennedy.
And again, I that's why I was just saying, I don't think the blame can be fully placed on Ryan Johnson.
Yeah,
I think that it also is a case of Kathleen Kennedy goes, okay, well, JJ's gone now, so we're going to bring in this new guy, and I'm just going to run the whole fucking movie, and you're just going to do what I say.
Yeah.
And that happens so often with these big franchise movies. Yep. It's just,
because I know what's his John Boyega, he was
pissed.
Yeah, I would have been.
I would have been too.
Like you can.
How are you going to put him on the marketing to be the fucking the new face of Star Wars, the new Jedi? Mm-hmm. And in the second movie, you just write him off, and he's gone playing fucking craps at a space casino.
Yeah, like literally
and betting on fucking alien horses. Like, are you what? The fuck?
I mean, like in Force Awakens, like you can clearly see where JJ was going. Like Rey was going to become a Jedi too, Finn was going to be a Jedi, and I solely really thought they were going to be love interests. Mm-hmm. And I think Ryan Johnson came in and he said, more Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, I think.
And said, no, let's have Kylo be the love interest. And it was like,
how fucking boring is that?
That's so boring.
How fucking boring is that?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Not to mention that, and then we're going to get into Rise of Skywalker, which, yeah, all right. But around the 2010s era-ish, after the prequels had already been done and all that, there was a comic book series that came out because, you know, Disney owns Marvel and Star Wars. Disney gave the rights to the comics to Marvel, obviously the publisher of their comic books now, and Marvel started releasing Star Wars comics on their comic book line. So in this line, we got a whole new series called Vader.
Oh, yeah.
And in this line, we see what happens after the events, like directly after the events of Revenge of the Sith. Fuck. And then, you know, we get how he created his red lightsaber. We get all this other shit. In these comics, they basically explain that Palpatine... Okay, interpret this how you will. He's not his father per se,
right?
But through the Force, he created Anakin Skywalker in Shmi Skywalker.
Yeah,
and technically it's a father thing. Like he created Anakin Skywalker because in the movie in the Phantom Menace they say Anakin doesn't have a father.
Yeah.
They don't. He just was. He was just what is that? Immaculate.
Yeah.
Conception.
Immaculate conception. Yeah.
So they try to say that basically, to put it in simple terms, Palpatine is Anakin Skywalker's father, and that's what these comics say. They never retcon this in the movies. They never say otherwise. It's just there, right?
Yeah.
If you take that into headcanon, that would mean that Ben and Rey are fucking cousins.
Yeah.
Because because Palpatine made a clone of himself who turned to good and then fucking went and had a kid, and that kid is Rey, so Rey is his granddaughter. And then if Palpatine is Vader's father, that would make Luke and Leia their grandfather. Mm-hmm. They had a kid, not Luke and Leia, Jesus. Leia had a son, which makes Palpatine his great grandfather. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What?
Why?
What is with Star Wars and incest? Why, dude?
I don't know.
What the fuck? It doesn't make any sense. And if you want to be really pissed off, look up the concept art for what J.J. Abrams had originally had planned for The Rise of Skywalker. If you want to piss yourself off really bad, look that shit up. Because it was going to be amazing. They go back to Coruscant. Oh. There's a Kyber crystal guillotine. Oh. There's a scene in the beginning of the movie where Leia mirrors what she did with R2 in A New Hope with BB-8, but she's super old and shit. Which I don't think that would have been able to happen just because Carrie Fisher passed away. R.I.P. Rey gets a double-bladed lightsaber. Kylo goes to Dagobah.
What?
And he has a cave experience and he fights Darth Vader in a cave.
Oh.
Dude, bro, there's a whole battle on Coruscant between the Resistance and the First Order, which was supposed to wipe out the two of them, pretty much.
This?
Let me see. Through looking at the concept art that he was looking at, I think that might be. I was looking at different ones. I mean, it's also been years since the original ones released, so I don't know if that's more of what happened. I kind of got to fucking pee. But so The Rise of Skywalker. Funnily enough, me and Mike saw this premiere night in the same theater, but we weren't together, watching it. But we saw it together, and then the next day in school, we were huffing mass amounts of copium, trying to convince ourselves that it was a good movie. Newsflash. It's not. And this is what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when you take out a director midway through a trilogy and then just randomly pop him back in, and now he has to work with what the previous one already set up. /retcon / just put down the shitter.
I think a lot of it, too, was Kathleen Kennedy telling him he can't do certain shit.
Mm-hmm. So, in this movie, where do you even begin?
I don't even know.
After the events of The Last Jedi, the Resistance is in a really bad spot, and Leia is training Rey on how to be a better Jedi, and Finn is working with the Resistance, and he's just kind of doing whatever, and Rose died, thank God, so we don't have to deal with her anymore. So now, basically, Palpatine is alive again. Bring back Ian McDiarmid again.
Which I will say, in Return of the Jedi, we don't necessarily see him die. He just falls down that big pit, so we don't see a dead body.
Yeah.
So I see how they can do it. But
it's
then
fucking
again,
stupid.
Yeah,
it's fucking stupid.
I don't need it.
You could have brought back Snoke.
Yeah.
Snoke could have been a way bigger, thing.
I think Snoke would have worked way better than
or I like to call him Supreme Leader Stroke. But yeah, you could have done Snoke, and it would have worked. I think he was a cool villain to set up, and why?
Yeah, and the voice
Why?
Andy Serkis did for him in The Last Jedi was
dude.
sick.
Like General,
Yeah,
or
like,
the whole throne room part, and just I don't know. And then you come to find out, well, Snoke was a failed clone of Palpatine, and that's why he's evil. Okay,
cool.
I mean,
So if he was successful, he's not going to be evil. Like,
yeah,
I don't
know. So then, Kylo meets Palpatine. Palpatine has a bunch of random Sith cult guys, or is that Force projections? Did they ever say what that was?
You talking about the end scene when they're
when there's people like in the crowd.
Oh, I think those are just like
Force
Sith like
Force
cultists that have
projections?
been living down there ever
I mean,
since.
somebody had to
Yeah.
be setting up all the shit
Yeah.
for Palpatine, so I guess.
Yeah.
But
I mean, and then
I mean, listen, I'll never. I was excited to hear to see the Emperor come back again.
Yeah.
At the time,
Yeah.
right at the time, and then you watch the movie and you're just like, why did that happen? Why did that need to happen?
Yeah, it didn't need to.
Other than fan service, which is the only reason that he came back, which it wasn't fan service because no one liked it.
Yeah.
And then another thing that people hate about that movie, the whole "they fly now" part, because they haven't been flying for generations,
Right.
but okay.
No. I think the only parts that I really like of the Rise of Skywalker is
That flashback scene with the de-aging thing with Luke and Leia, that was cool.
yeah, that was cool.
That was cool.
There was the part when Kylo is on that one planet with the waves or whatever, and he sees Han.
Mm-hmm.
I like that part.
Mm-hmm.
And then the end part when he fights the Knights of Ren. That's about it.
Yeah, where they do the force handoff.
Yeah, that was cool.
It's cool.
That was
it doesn't
dope.
make any fucking sense, but it's cool.
It was dope. And then the fight thing was so cool, but then I'm just sitting there like, okay, you can end the movie.
Yeah, I mean, and then again, Star Wars incest.
Yeah.
Why did they make out at the end?
Yeah, I don't understand it. Seeing Lando come back was cool.
Like, okay, you killed one of my closest friends, closest thing I had to a mentor, Han Solo. You killed him right in front of my other best friend,
Yeah.
Chewie. And then you've been killing a bunch of people left, right, and center this whole time. You made your mother really upset and she died. But you know what? Bygones are bygones, bro. Let's swap spit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand it.
Yeah. I don't get it either.
It's so forced. It's so, no pun intended. It's so forced. It's so fucking pushed that they are trying to make this a thing.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work.
Nope, not at all.
And again, we could have had this whole end scene be on Coruscant.
Oh, that'd been so dope.
Like, taking it back to the beginning, where all of it started. Of course, Palpatine would be on fucking Coruscant. He loves Coruscant.
Yeah.
Like, that's his planet,
Yeah.
you know?
But instead he's in some Sith world, dungeon
Cave.
hooked
like-
up to a big machine. And it's just I don't have a lot to say about this movie to
Me
be
neither.
honest, 'cause
It's just,
I don't
I
like
don't know.
it.
I mean,
At
it's not good.
Yeah.
And then just the way that they ended it, like, they killed all they did was kill Palpatine, and nothing happened. The First Order is still around.
Didn't Kylo die too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he died, but
Fuck you.
so your Supreme Leader died. Okay, that just means that Hux is probably going to end up becoming the Supreme Leader of the First Order.
I love Hux though. I'm gonna be honest with you. He be cracking me up.
Oh no, he was a traitor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a traitor because he hated Kylo. See that too? Like, what the?
It's so stupid, but he's so funny. I love him. Also, he breaks his mask and then rebuilds it.
Cool design.
Cool design.
Cool design.
Why doesn't he wear it?
Yeah, no, he wears it one time.
One time. One time.
Yeah.
Leave it on.
Yeah.
Leave it on.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted. Like, that mask is cool. He sounds dope.
I mean,
under it.
they do that because of, like, when Vader was the thing, they weren't paying for the actor who was portraying Vader. They were paying for the voice actor who was voicing Vader.
No, I know, but I guarantee you, if
when you cast Adam Driver in your movie, you want to see Adam Driver because you paid fucking $5 million for him to be in the movie, or probably way more than that.
But I guarantee if they would have looked at Adam Driver and said, listen, you're playing him, you're going to wear a mask all 3 films.
Well, it's like, dude, you cast Pedro Pascal on the fucking Mandalorian.
Yeah.
He wears a mask 90% of the fucking, maybe like 98% of the time.
Like, I remember when I saw Force Awakens first, I'm like, oh, he's cool. And then he takes his helmet off, and I'm like,
why?
what, like that was the cool thing with Vader. Like, in the original, never took it off.
Mask. And when you got to the point where he did take off his mask, it was a huge deal.
Yeah. Like, you didn't know, like, okay, is he human under there? Is he some sort of creature? Like, is he a different, like, you don't know.
Yeah.
And then Kylo just takes it off, and he's like, here, will tell me where the droid's at. Okay. No, I don't want to now.
Yeah.
You're not very intimidating.
The Ben Swallow meme.
Yeah.
Where he's got his pants up to his fucking titties. Like,
yeah.
All right, bro. Bro's got britches on.
Yeah.